Welcome to Just Listen Books channel. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification. Lean In, Women, Work, and the Will to Lead by Sheryl Sandberg is a book that has sparked considerable discussion since its publication in 2013. It blends personal anecdotes, hard data, and analysis to discuss the challenges women face in the workplace, and offers advice on overcoming these obstacles. Introduction: The Leadership Ambition Gap. Sandberg opens with an exploration of why women are underrepresented in leadership roles across various sectors. She discusses the societal and internal barriers that contribute to the leadership ambition gap, and sets the stage for a conversation on empowering women to achieve their full potential. Chapter 1: The Leadership Ambition Gap. What would you do if you weren't afraid? This chapter explores the various factors that contribute to the disparity in ambition to lead between men and women. Sandberg uses a mix of personal anecdotes, research, and observations from her professional life to dissect the roots and ramifications of this ambition gap. Societal expectations and gender stereotypes. Sandberg begins by highlighting how societal expectations and deeply ingrained gender stereotypes shape the behaviors and aspirations of boys and girls from a young age. She points out that leadership qualities are often encouraged in boys but discouraged in girls, leading to a divergence in confidence and ambition as they grow. This societal programming, she argues, lays the groundwork for the ambition gap observed in the professional world. Fear of failure and success. A significant portion of the chapter is dedicated to discussing the fear of failure and success that many women experience. Sandberg shares personal stories and studies to illustrate how women, more than men, tend to underestimate their abilities and shy away from taking risks due to fear of not being good enough or the repercussions of failing. This fear is compounded by the social penalties women face when they exhibit ambition and assertiveness, traits that are traditionally associated with men and often viewed negatively when displayed by women. The Heidi Howard Study. One compelling piece of evidence Sandberg presents is the Heidi Howard Study, which demonstrates how success and likability are positively correlated for men and negatively correlated for women in professional settings. The study involved students reading about a successful entrepreneur, with half the class reading about Heidi and the other half about Howard. Despite the descriptions being identical except for the gender, students found Howard to be a more appealing colleague, while Heidi was seen as selfish and not the type of person you would want to hire or work for. This study, Sandberg argues, highlights the double bind women face where their success can lead to social isolation and likability penalties. The internalization of social expectations. Sandberg also discusses how women internalize these societal expectations and allow them to influence their career decisions. Women's tendency to attribute their success to external factors, like luck or help from others, rather than their own capabilities can undermine their confidence and ambition. This lack of self-confidence makes women less likely to pursue leadership roles or ambitious career paths. What would you do if you weren't afraid? The chapter concludes with a powerful call to action, encouraging women to ponder the question, what would you do if you weren't afraid? Sandberg emphasizes the importance of acknowledging and overcoming internal barriers to ambition. By challenging societal norms and internalized fears, women can begin to close the ambition gap and strive for leadership positions. Sandberg's message is one of empowerment, urging women to lean into their careers and aspirations and not to let fear or societal expectations dictate their paths. Overall, Chapter 1 sets the tone for the book by laying out the complex interplay of factors that contribute to the leadership ambition gap. Sandberg's use of research and personal anecdotes makes a compelling case for the need to address these issues both individually and societally. Chapter 2: Sit at the Table. In this chapter, Sheryl Sandberg delves into a critical aspect of professional growth and self-assertion for women in the workplace. She uses the metaphor "sit at the table" to encapsulate the idea of taking one's rightful place in discussions, decisions, and leadership roles, rather than hanging back or settling for a less visible position. This chapter is a blend of personal anecdotes, psychological insights, and practical advice aimed at encouraging women to step forward and claim their space in professional settings. The metaphor explained. Sandberg starts by sharing an anecdote from her time at Facebook, where she observed that women at a meeting were more likely to take seats along the wall rather than at the conference table, literally distancing themselves from the center of discussion. This behavior is emblematic of a broader tendency among women to shy away from asserting themselves in professional environments. Sandberg uses this metaphor to encourage women to take their place at the table, engaging directly in dialogue and decision-making processes. Overcoming self-doubt and imposter syndrome. A significant portion of the chapter is dedicated to addressing the internal barriers women face, particularly self-doubt and imposter syndrome. Sandberg describes imposter syndrome as the feeling of not deserving one's success, attributing achievements to luck or external factors rather than one's own competence. This syndrome is pervasive among successful women and can inhibit them from aspiring to higher positions or taking on challenging tasks. Sandberg shares stories from her own career and those of other successful women who have battled feelings of not belonging or not being good enough. She emphasizes the importance of recognizing these feelings as common and unfounded fears that should not prevent women from pursuing their ambitions. Asserting oneself in discussions and decisions. The chapter goes on to offer advice on how women can assert themselves more effectively in professional discussions and decision-making. Sandberg stresses the importance of speaking up, sharing ideas confidently, and taking credit for one's contributions. She points out that women are often socialized to be modest and to downplay their achievements, which can lead to being overlooked for promotions and leadership roles. Encouraging other women. Sandberg also addresses the role of mentorship and support among women in the workplace. She encourages women to support each other's ambitions and to provide encouragement to sit at the table. By fostering an environment where women feel empowered to assert themselves, entire organizations can benefit from diverse perspectives and leadership styles. Practical advice. Finally, Sandberg provides practical advice for women aiming to overcome their hesitation and fully engage in their careers. She encourages women to prepare thoroughly for meetings and discussions to boost confidence. Practice speaking up about their achievements in a factual and straightforward manner. Seek feedback and mentorship to identify and address areas for improvement. Challenge the social conditioning that equates female assertiveness with negativity. Chapter 2 of Lean In is a powerful call to action for women to embrace their worth, overcome internalized barriers, and actively participate in shaping their careers and workplaces. Sandberg's blend of personal experience and practical advice offers readers both inspiration and a roadmap to asserting their place at the professional table. Chapter 3. Success and Likability. This chapter delves into the complex relationship between a woman's success in her career and her likability among peers and subordinates, a relationship that often presents a paradox. Sheryl Sandberg uses research findings, personal anecdotes, and real-world examples to unpack the challenges women face as they climb the professional ladder, highlighting the societal biases that penalize successful women for exhibiting the same traits that are applauded in their male counterparts. The likability penalty. Sandberg introduces the concept of the likability penalty, referring to the societal tendency to find successful women less likable than successful men. This phenomenon is rooted in traditional gender roles that associate men with leadership qualities and women with nurturing roles. When women display ambition, assertiveness, or competitiveness, traits associated with successful leadership, they often clash with these stereotypical expectations, leading to a likability penalty. The Heidi Howard experiment. A pivotal piece of evidence Sandberg discusses is the Heidi Howard experiment, which she revisits in more detail. This study involved two groups of students reading about the success story of a venture capitalist, with one group reading about Heidi and the other about Howard. Although the stories were identical except for the gender of the protagonist, students rated Howard as more likable and a desirable colleague, whereas Heidi was seen as selfish and less desirable to work with. This experiment starkly illustrates how success and assertiveness in women are perceived differently than in men, navigating the bias. Acknowledging the likability penalty as a real and challenging bias, Sandberg offers strategies for women to navigate this tightrope between being seen as competent and likable. She suggests adopting a blend of relational aggression, which includes using humor and modesty to soften the impact of assertiveness, and ensuring that advocacy for oneself or one's ideas is interwoven with communal interests and the greater good. Balancing acts. Sandberg discusses the balancing act required from women in leadership roles, where they must constantly negotiate their assertiveness to avoid backlash without diminishing their authority and effectiveness. This involves mastering nonverbal communication cues, choosing battles wisely, and building alliances within the workplace. Creating change. The chapter doesn't just highlight problems, but also discusses how organizational cultures can change to support women better. Sandberg calls for awareness and open discussion about gender biases and the likability penalty, suggesting that both men and women in leadership can play pivotal roles in recognizing and dismantling these biases. She emphasizes the importance of mentorship, sponsorship, and creating networks of support that can provide feedback and encouragement to women navigating these challenges. Success and likability is a powerful chapter that shines a light on one of the most pervasive challenges facing women in the workplace. By combining research with practical advice, Sandberg not only raises awareness of the issue, but also empowers women with strategies to address it. She advocates for a collective effort in changing perceptions and organizational cultures, making it clear that achieving gender equality in the workplace requires both individual resilience and systemic change. Chapter 4. It's a jungle gym, not a ladder. In this chapter, Sheryl Sandberg challenges the conventional metaphor of the career ladder. She argues that this linear model is overly simplistic and does not accurately reflect the complex, often nonlinear nature of most career paths. Instead, Sandberg proposes the metaphor of a jungle gym to represent the varied, flexible, and sometimes unconventional routes that careers can take. The limitations of the ladder. Sandberg begins by discussing the limitations of the career ladder metaphor, which suggests that career progression happens in a straight, upward trajectory. She points out that this model creates a narrow view of success, pressuring individuals to continually seek promotions in a direct line. This perspective, Sandberg argues, can lead to missed opportunities, discouragement in the face of setbacks, and a lack of appreciation for lateral or unconventional moves that can enrich one's career and skill set. The jungle gym model. The jungle gym model, on the other hand, allows for a more dynamic understanding of career development. It acknowledges that moving sideways, down, or off the path entirely can lead to valuable experiences and opportunities. This model encourages individuals to take risks and explore opportunities that may not seem directly related to their current path or end goals. Build a broad skill set that can open doors to various roles and industries. Stay adaptable and open to change, recognizing that the most rewarding careers often involve periods of learning and growth that may not look like upward movement on a traditional ladder. Personal anecdotes and examples. Sandberg shares personal anecdotes and stories from other professionals to illustrate the jungle gym approach. She recounts her own career moves, which included lateral moves and taking on roles in different sectors, that ultimately led to her significant contributions at Google and Facebook. These stories highlight how a willingness to explore and take calculated risks can lead to unexpected and fulfilling career developments. Encouraging flexibility and risk-taking. Sandberg emphasizes the importance of flexibility and risk-taking, especially for women who often face additional barriers and biases in the workplace. She encourages women to embrace opportunities to learn new skills, even if they do not align perfectly with their current job description or career aspirations. Consider roles in different departments or industries as opportunities to grow, rather than as detours or setbacks. Not to fear failure, as setbacks are often learning opportunities that can lead to greater success in the long run. Chapter 4 of Lean In reframes the concept of career progression, moving away from the restrictive ladder metaphor to embrace the more flexible and realistic jungle gym. This shift in perspective is not just about career strategy. It's a call to action for individuals to pursue their interests and passions with an open mind and to define success on their own terms. Sandberg's jungle gym metaphor encourages a more creative, adventurous approach to career planning that acknowledges the value of diverse experiences and the non-linear nature of most career paths. Chapter 5. Are You My Mentor? This chapter focuses on the vital role of mentorship and sponsorship in career development, particularly for women. Sheryl Sandberg aims to debunk common myths about mentorship, clarify the nature of effective mentor-mentee relationships, and offer practical advice on how to seek and foster these connections. Dispelling mentorship myths. Sandberg starts by addressing a common misconception, the idea that one needs an official mentor to succeed. She observes that many people approach mentorship as a formal arrangement to be sought after directly, akin to asking, "Will you be my mentor?" Sandberg argues that the most effective mentorships arise organically out of genuine relationships, not from formal requests. She emphasizes that mentorship should be mutually beneficial, built on respect, and not seen as a one-way street where only the mentee benefits. The impact of mentors and sponsors. Sandberg distinguishes between mentors who provide guidance and advice, and sponsors who can advocate for an individual's promotions and opportunities. Both roles are crucial for career advancement, but sponsorship is particularly impactful in helping individuals climb the career ladder. She provides evidence and examples to show how mentors and sponsors can open doors, offer critical advice, and advocate for their mentees in spaces where decisions about career advancement are made. Building genuine relationships. A key theme of this chapter is the importance of building genuine relationships. Sandberg advises that, rather than asking someone to be a mentor, individuals should focus on establishing real connections based on common interests, respect, and shared experiences. Effective mentorships often start with a specific question, piece of advice, or project, evolving naturally as both parties invest in the relationship. Seeking out mentorship opportunities. Sandberg provides practical advice for those seeking mentorship opportunities. She suggests being proactive about meeting people in your field, taking on challenging projects, and demonstrating your capabilities and potential. By making oneself mentorable, individuals can attract the attention of potential mentors who are willing to invest their time and resources. The role of women in mentoring. The chapter also touches on the importance of women mentoring other women. Sandberg acknowledges the challenges that come with fewer women in leadership positions, but stresses the importance of women supporting each other to change the status quo. She encourages women in positions of influence to actively seek out opportunities to mentor and sponsor other women, helping to create a more inclusive and equitable workplace. In Are You My Mentor?, Sandberg shifts the conversation from seeking mentors to fostering meaningful professional relationships that can naturally evolve into mentorship and sponsorship. She underscores the importance of mutual respect, genuine connection, and proactive engagement in one's career development. This chapter not only clarifies the roles of mentors and sponsors, but also empowers readers to take control of their professional growth by being mentorable and open to forming connections with potential mentors. Chapter 6. Seek and Speak Your Truth. This chapter delves into the critical importance of authenticity and open communication in the workplace. Sheryl Sandberg emphasizes the power of voicing one's opinions, sharing personal experiences, and advocating for personal needs and boundaries, especially for women, who often face societal pressures to conform to certain norms of behavior and communication. Authenticity in communication. Sandberg begins the chapter by highlighting the value of authenticity, being true to oneself, in all aspects of life, including at work. She argues that authentic communication fosters genuine connections, builds trust, and facilitates more meaningful interactions in professional environments. Sandberg acknowledges that being open and honest, particularly about challenges and vulnerabilities, can be daunting in a professional setting. However, She posits that such authenticity can break down barriers and lead to a more inclusive and supportive workplace culture. Sharing personal experiences. One of the core themes of this chapter is the encouragement for women to share their personal experiences in the workplace. Sandberg suggests that by speaking openly about their lives, challenges, and aspirations, women can help to dismantle stereotypes and build empathy among colleagues. This, in turn, can challenge the status quo and contribute to a cultural shift towards more equitable and understanding workplace dynamics. Advocating for needs and boundaries. Sandberg also addresses the importance of advocating for one's needs and setting clear boundaries. She stresses that women often struggle with asserting their needs, whether it's negotiating for a raise, requesting flexible work arrangements, or simply saying no to additional responsibilities that exceed their capacity. Sandberg argues that advocating for oneself is not just beneficial for the individual, but can also set a precedent and open pathways for others in similar situations. Navigating the challenges. The chapter also acknowledges the challenges and potential backlash that women may face when speaking their truth, particularly in environments that are not accustomed to open and authentic communication. Sandberg provides strategies for navigating these challenges, such as finding allies, choosing the right moments to speak up, and framing messages in a way that connects personal experiences to broader organizational goals or values. The role of leadership. Leadership plays a crucial role in fostering an environment where individuals feel safe and encouraged to express their truths. Sandberg calls on leaders to lead by example, demonstrating openness and vulnerability themselves, and to actively encourage and reward authenticity in others. She highlights the importance of creating spaces where employees can share their experiences and opinions without fear of judgment or retribution. Seek and Speak Your Truth is a compelling chapter that champions the power of authenticity and open communication in creating more inclusive, understanding, and effective workplaces. Sandberg provides a roadmap for women to navigate the complexities of expressing their needs, opinions, and experiences authentically, while also urging leaders to cultivate environments that value and encourage such openness. Through personal anecdotes and practical advice, Sandberg inspires readers to embrace their truths and advocate for themselves and others in the pursuit of equity and fulfillment in the workplace. Chapter 7. Don't Leave Before You Leave. This chapter addresses a critical issue many women face in their careers: the inclination to start pulling back from career opportunities in anticipation of future family responsibilities. Sheryl Sandberg explores how this preemptive scaling back can significantly impact women's career trajectories and offers advice on navigating career and family planning without compromising professional growth. The phenomenon of leaving before. Leaving. Sandberg begins the chapter by identifying a common pattern among many women who plan to have children in the future. She notes that even before they are pregnant, some women start declining new projects, not applying for promotions, or not pursuing new career opportunities because they anticipate the need to balance work with family life. Sandberg refers to this as leaving before you leave, pointing out that by doing so, women may inadvertently limit their career growth and satisfaction. The impact on career trajectory. The author highlights how decisions to pull back from career advancement opportunities can lead to decreased engagement and satisfaction at work, slower career progression, and potentially lower compensation over time. This preemptive withdrawal can also place women in a weaker position when they eventually do need to negotiate for flexibility or part-time work, as their reduced involvement may lead them to be seen as less committed or integral to their teams. Encouragement to lean in. Sandberg's core message in this chapter is an encouragement for women to lean into their careers, especially during the years before starting a family. She advises women to pursue their career goals with vigor, take on challenging and high-profile projects, and strive for promotions and leadership roles. The rationale is that building a strong and fulfilling career before taking any family-related breaks can lead to greater flexibility, higher earning potential, and more satisfaction both at work and at home. Addressing the guilt and pressure. Sandberg acknowledges the societal pressures and guilt that women may feel about the prospect of balancing career and family. She emphasizes the importance of making these decisions based on personal values and circumstances rather than societal expectations or fear of judgment. Sandberg encourages open discussions with partners about shared responsibilities and the possibility of both partners making adjustments to support each other's careers and family life. Planning for the future. While advising women to lean in, Sandberg also stresses the importance of planning and communication. She suggests that women and men consider their long-term career and family goals and discuss these openly with their partners. Planning for the future includes understanding the flexibilities and policies of their employers, exploring childcare options, and considering how both partners' careers can accommodate family life. Don't leave before you leave is a powerful call to action for women not to limit their career potential in anticipation of family responsibilities that are not yet present. Sandberg advocates for a proactive and engaged approach to career development, emphasizing that greater professional success before starting a family can lead to more options and flexibility in the future. Through personal anecdotes and practical advice, Sandberg inspires women to pursue their career ambitions fully and to make decisions about work and family based on actual circumstances rather than anticipation and fear. Chapter 8. Make your partner a real partner. This chapter addresses the crucial role of partnership in balancing professional aspirations and family responsibilities. Sheryl Sandberg explores how egalitarian relationships, where both partners share domestic duties and support each other's careers, are key to achieving a fulfilling work-life balance. This chapter is both a call to action and a guide for creating partnerships that genuinely support the career goals of both individuals. The importance of egalitarian partnerships. Sandberg starts by emphasizing that having a supportive partner is one of the most significant factors in a woman's ability to succeed professionally. She points out that in households where domestic responsibilities are unequally distributed, women often find themselves in the position of having two full-time jobs, their career and their home. This imbalance can lead to women scaling back their professional ambitions or exiting the workforce altogether. The data on domestic duties. The chapter provides data showing that, despite progress toward gender equality in the workplace, women still shoulder a disproportionate share of household and caregiving duties. Strategies for building equal partnerships. Sandberg offers strategies for couples aiming to build more equal partnerships. Open communication. Couples should have honest discussions about their career goals, values, and expectations regarding household responsibilities. Rejecting gender stereotypes. Both partners should consciously reject traditional gender roles that dictate who is responsible for certain tasks at home. Sharing domestic duties. Actively dividing household chores, childcare, and elder care responsibilities enables both partners to engage more fully in their careers. Supporting each other's careers. Partners should be each other's biggest advocates, supporting career moves, sharing opportunities, and encouraging each other to take on challenges. The impact on children. Sandberg also discusses the positive impact that egalitarian partnerships can have on children. She cites research suggesting that when children see their parents sharing household responsibilities and supporting each other's careers, they are more likely to adopt similar values. This can lead to more equitable relationships in the next generation. Challenges and considerations. Recognizing the complexities of individual situations, Sandberg acknowledges that achieving an equal partnership is not without its challenges. Factors such as societal expectations, family pressures, and workplace policies can all impact the dynamics of a partnership. However, she argues that the effort to create a balanced partnership is worthwhile, both for the individual careers of the partners and for the well-being of their family. Make your partner a real partner is a compelling argument for the importance of supportive, equitable partnerships in achieving professional success and personal fulfillment. Sandberg's insights and advice encourage readers to examine and challenge traditional roles within their relationships, advocating for a partnership model that supports the ambitions and careers of both individuals. Through a combination of personal anecdotes, research data, and practical strategies, Sandberg inspires readers to strive for partnerships where both members can thrive professionally and personally. Chapter 9. The Myth of Doing It All. This chapter addresses the pervasive and unrealistic expectation that women can and should be able to balance perfectly their careers, families, and personal lives without any compromises. Sheryl Sandberg challenges this myth, discussing the pressures it creates and offering a more realistic and forgiving approach to managing professional and personal responsibilities. Debunking the myth. Sandberg begins by highlighting how the idea of having it all sets women up for failure and disappointment. This myth implies that it's possible to excel in every aspect of life simultaneously, without sacrifices or trade-offs. Sandberg argues that this expectation is not only unrealistic but also harmful, as it can lead to feelings of inadequacy and overwhelm. Societal pressures. The chapter explores how societal and cultural norms contribute to the pressure women feel to meet these unrealistic standards. From media portrayals of the perfect mother and successful career woman to societal judgments about women's choices regarding work and family, Sandberg underscores the external pressures that reinforce the myth of doing it all. Setting achievable goals. A key message in this chapter is the importance of setting realistic and achievable goals. Sandberg advises women to define success on their own terms, considering what is genuinely important to them rather than adhering to societal expectations. By focusing on what they value most, women can set priorities that reflect their true goals and aspirations. Embracing imperfection. Sandberg emphasizes the need to accept imperfection and recognize that making mistakes or failing to meet every expectation is part of being human. She encourages women to forgive themselves for not being able to do everything perfectly and to recognize the value in doing the best they can with the resources and time they have. The power of prioritization. Prioritizing becomes a crucial strategy in managing the juggle of work and personal life. Sandberg suggests that by clearly defining priorities, women can make more informed decisions about how to allocate their time and energy, leading to a more balanced and fulfilling life. This might mean accepting that some tasks will be left undone or that some opportunities will be passed up in favor of what matters most. The role of support networks. Sandberg also highlights the importance of building support networks, both professionally and personally. Having a circle of friends, family, and colleagues who can offer help, advice, and encouragement can make a significant difference in managing the complexities of work and family life. The Myth of Doing It All is a powerful chapter that calls for a shift in perspective from striving for an unattainable ideal to embracing a more flexible and forgiving approach to balancing life's various demands. Sandberg's insights encourage women to reject the myth of perfection, set their own priorities, and accept that making the best possible choices within their circumstances is enough. This chapter not only offers practical advice for navigating work-life balance, but also challenges societal norms that perpetuate unrealistic expectations for women. Chapter 10. Let's start talking about it. This chapter serves as a rallying cry for open, honest discussions about gender issues in the workplace. Sheryl Sandberg underscores the importance of acknowledging and addressing the challenges that women face in their careers as a foundational step toward achieving gender equality. She provides insights into how individuals and organizations can foster environments that encourage these critical conversations. The silence around gender. Sandberg begins by highlighting the reluctance many people feel in discussing gender issues at work, driven by fear of saying the wrong thing, offending someone, or facing accusations of bias. This silence, she argues, is one of the biggest barriers to progress, as it prevents awareness and understanding of the issues at stake. The power of dialogue. The chapter emphasizes the transformative power of dialogue in breaking down barriers and misconceptions about gender. Sandberg shares examples of how open conversations have led to increased awareness, changed perceptions, and prompted actions to address gender disparities. By encouraging both men and women to participate in these discussions, workplaces can begin to dismantle the biases and structures that perpetuate inequality. Creating safe spaces for conversation. Sandberg provides guidance on creating safe, inclusive environments where employees feel comfortable discussing gender issues. This includes leadership taking an active role in initiating conversations, ensuring there are channels and forums for dialogue, and setting norms that prioritize respect and understanding. Leaders are encouraged to share their own experiences and vulnerabilities related to gender, making it easier for others to open up. Encouraging men to participate. A significant focus of the chapter is on the crucial role men play in these discussions. Sandberg stresses that achieving gender equality is not solely the responsibility of women, and that men, as allies, can make a profound impact. She suggests ways to involve men in the conversation, such as framing gender equality as a leadership issue that affects everyone and highlighting the benefits of a more inclusive workplace. Addressing uncomfortable topics. Sandberg acknowledges that conversations about gender can be uncomfortable and sometimes confrontational. However, she argues that it's necessary to engage with these discomforts to move forward. The chapter offers strategies for navigating sensitive topics, such as how to give and receive feedback on biases and how to discuss the impact of gender on work-life balance, promotions, and leadership opportunities. Action beyond conversation. While the chapter champions the importance of dialogue, Sandberg also makes it clear that conversation alone is not enough. She calls for actionable steps that individuals and organizations can take to address gender disparities, such as implementing policies that support work-life balance, providing training on unconscious bias, and setting clear goals for diversity and inclusion. Let's Start Talking About It is a compelling chapter that makes the case for breaking the silence on gender issues in the workplace. Sandberg's call to action for open dialogue is presented as both a moral imperative and a strategic advantage for organizations. By fostering environments where gender issues can be discussed openly and without fear, Sandberg believes we can pave the way for meaningful change, advancing toward a more equitable and inclusive workplace. This chapter serves as a guide for initiating these crucial conversations and taking the necessary steps to create a better working world for everyone. Chapter 11. Working Together Toward Equality. This is the concluding chapter of Lean In, Women, Work, and the Will to Lead by Sheryl Sandberg. This chapter is a clarion call for collective action towards gender equality, emphasizing the critical role men play in this journey. Sandberg argues that achieving gender equality is not only a matter of fairness and justice for women, but also beneficial for men, families, and society at large. She presents a vision for a more equitable world, and outlines steps both individuals and organizations can take to remove barriers to women's leadership. Men as partners in equality. Sandberg stresses the importance of involving men in the conversation about gender equality from the beginning. She points out that men often hold the majority of leadership positions and thus have significant power to effect change. By becoming allies and advocates for gender equality, men can help dismantle the structures and biases that perpetuate inequality. Sandberg encourages men to support their partners' careers, share domestic responsibilities equitably, and challenge discriminatory practices in the workplace. The benefits of gender equality. The chapter outlines the numerous benefits of gender equality for all members of society. Sandberg cites research indicating that organizations with more women in leadership positions perform better financially, are more innovative, and have higher employee satisfaction. For families, shared economic and domestic responsibilities lead to stronger partnerships and more balanced lives. Sandberg argues that gender equality also allows individuals, both men and women, to pursue their ambitions and lead more fulfilling lives, without being constrained by traditional gender roles. Overcoming resistance. Sandberg acknowledges the resistance that often arises in discussions about gender equality, including denial of the problem, fear of change, and concerns about reverse discrimination. She argues that acknowledging gender disparities is the first step toward addressing them and that the goal of gender equality is to create fair opportunities for everyone, not to disadvantage men. Call to action. The chapter concludes with a call to action for readers to take concrete steps toward achieving gender equality. This includes advocating for more women in leadership roles, supporting policies that promote work-life balance, challenging sexist attitudes and behaviors, and encouraging open dialogue about gender issues in all areas of life. Encouraging leadership. Sandberg urges organizations to recognize and address the barriers women face in rising to leadership positions. This includes evaluating and changing hiring and promotion practices, offering mentorship and sponsorship opportunities to women, and creating a culture that values diversity and inclusion. The role of individuals. Finally, Sandberg emphasizes the role of individuals in working toward gender equality. She encourages readers to examine their biases, to speak up against inequality, and to support others in their efforts to balance work and family responsibilities. She calls on everyone, regardless of gender, to lean into their roles as agents of change. Working together toward equality encapsulates the essence of Sandberg's message in Lean In. By highlighting the benefits of gender equality and calling for a collective effort to achieve it, Sandberg aims to inspire readers to take action. She underscores the importance of both men and women working together to dismantle the barriers to women's leadership, advocating for a world where everyone has the opportunity to lead and succeed. This chapter is not only a conclusion to the book, but also an invitation to readers to continue the conversation and the work toward creating a more equitable society. Lean In is not just a call to action for women. It's a blueprint for rethinking gender dynamics in the workplace. Sandberg's book has inspired many, sparked debate, and contributed significantly to discussions about gender equality in professional settings. Thank you for staying with us until the end. Click subscribe and hit the bell to be the first to enjoy our upcoming audiobooks.